Okay, what's up guys? This is Jami from The Balanced Ape. I'm going to be giving you a quick review of the Fisher Space Pen. Okay, so let's have a look. This is the actual pen itself. This is the Fisher Space Pen Bullet in black matte. Bullet model in black matte. This is the box that it came in. So again, just wanted to review a few specs and talk about how it's been going over the last couple of days that I've had this pen. Okay, so you can see this is the box that it comes in. Just really quickly have a quick look at that. Now, the Fisher Space Pen itself has a very interesting history. So without having to read through all of this, started in 1945, Paul Fisher and his associates developing the pen, and essentially for NASA in 1967 they started using these for the Apollo missions. And okay, we'll just have a quick look at the box if I can get this open. Of course I can't. Okay. So you have a handy little plastic box that it came in, little presentation style box. So fit right in there. I guess that's meant to look a bit like the moon. Something. Okay, and there's more little instructions. In fact, in this case you've got a little guarantee here. If you're not satisfied with this Fisher Space Pen, return for repair or replacement. So explaining a little about the sealed pressurized ink cartridge that's in there, and we'll talk about that in a second. Part of the main magic of this pen, the fact that it can write upside down, perform freezing, cold, boiling hot vacuum, etc. Okay, so that's interesting there. So here to the pen itself. Okay, so if we have a look, this is the matte black version. Apparently the chrome is the classic. And so it's a nice pen, very weighty. It's made of brass and aluminum. Okay, so if we kind of have a look at the main specs of the pen as far as length, you're talking when it's capped, it's just about 9.5 centimeters long. You can see it's just under a centimeter in width. When you uncap it, you can see that, you know, we're almost, including the actual tip of the pen itself, 13.5 centimeters. The weight, I'll have a look at that and maybe put that in a second. It's a nice weighted pen. You can see here, if we zoom in, there's a little bit of this O-ring here keeps it nice and tidy when you pop the cover on. It creates a bit of a seal. Now there's a little, it looks like a defect, a little nick in this O-ring, but I think it works as far as the pressure that the seal gets. Lets a little bit of the air out there when you're pushing it in, so it's a nice, satisfactory sort of clicking sound there. Okay. Let's see. So how does it write? Oh wait, sorry. Just to compare it, average pen length. Right. So here's a standard ballpoint pen. So you're talking, yeah, it's a nice length relative to it. Writing, we can check how it writes. Writes pretty well. Okay, and what I like about it is that it just, like straight out of your pocket, it starts to write. Okay. So I'm very happy with that. The lazy dog. Okay. And if for some reason you don't know this, everybody seems to know this sentence, but quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. You have every letter of the alphabet in that sentence. Okay, so back to the pen. It's a great everyday carry sort of pen. It sits really well in your pocket. It's weighty enough. The fact that the pen itself has these, the ink itself has these properties that you can write anywhere. So basically, like it says on the box here, it's a viscoelastic thixotropic solid gel ink. And when you Google thixotropic, thixotropy is a time-dependent shear thinning property. So certain gels or fluids that are thick or viscous under certain static conditions will flow or become thin or less viscous over time when shaken, agitated, or otherwise stressed. So I think it's this some sort of a viscosity state. They then take a fixed time to return to a more viscous state. So it's the ink itself, I think, is part of the magic. You can write upside down apparently as well. So like, let's try a normal pen, right? Here's a normal pen that's still writing. And if we were to try and write on it upside down, you know, after a while, obviously it's going to run out of, right, because it's not a pressurized container, whereas this guy, you write upside down on this forever, right? Just keeps on going. You can write in all kinds of angles with this. Okay, and we can try the other thing as well, see if it works as far as the wet paper test. Okay, so nice bit of wet paper. Now, will it write? Pretty handy. See? Okay. So overall, I really like this pen. Great for EDC. Great to carry around. Obviously, disadvantage is it can be pretty easy to lose. I'd say a lot of people lose these if you're, I mean, it doesn't have the clip. You can get versions with a clip on it. And of course, with the weight, it does tend to roll a bit. And the other night, one of the other downsides, well, it's not a downside, but it's one of the things that you kind of have to be prepared for might happen, is if the other day I was writing with it and I dropped it and it landed like off, say off a table height, and it must have landed pretty perfectly right on itself like that, and it just jammed. This guy got stuck in the cap, and I just couldn't get it out, you know, with any normal force. And so I was, you know, didn't want to necessarily go and get the pliers out. And of course, I was thinking of all kinds of things around trying to apply some pliers to it with, obviously cover it or wrap it and then pull it open. But I didn't want to deform the thing or scratch the finish on it at all. And so then you're thinking, well, what if you put it in the freezer? Or it's still right. It's meant to still write coming out of the freezer. Freeze it a bit, get the metal to contract a bit. But I didn't feel I had that much time. So anyway, what I ended up doing was using some Ranger bands. So if you don't know what Ranger bands are, just look those up on YouTube. It's essentially clips of, if you cut off some strips from tire inner tube and use those as really cool rubber bands. Is very useful, these Ranger band things. Anyway, just wrapped a couple Ranger bands around here and twisted really hard to get a bit of grip, and it eventually did pop open. Anyway, this is my first review ever, so be gentle. I really should have been more organized with it. Hopefully in the future I'll be putting out some other things. So watch this space. Okay, so the Fisher Space Pen in black, loads of other colors. Order it on Amazon. Maybe I'll put a link there for where I got it on Amazon. And it's a good pen, so highly recommended. The refills are, oh sorry, didn't even show you that bit. Let me unscrew this, obviously, and we can have a look at the refills. So there's our refill cartridge. It actually even has this thing, $6 sent to then it has his address on it for the Fisher Space Pen Company in the States. But I'm sure you can just pick these up on Amazon as well if you can't, if you're not in the States. So this is a black medium cartridge. You can get blue, you can get fine tip. It's a nice little thing there. So that was my review of the Fisher Space Pen. Thanks for watching if you got that far. Subscribe. Hopefully I'll put some more stuff out there. This has been Johnny from the Balanced Ape. Take care out there and keep evolving.